Okay, welcome part two of campaign finance, which is really part four. All right. So after McCain-Feingold comes in and is basically upheld by the Supreme Court, a new group emerges called 527s. All right. And I kind of call this the new soft money, and you'll see why. Okay. 527s were named for the IRS tax code that basically gave life to these committees. Okay. So there's a whole tax code with all these different rules and things. It's very complicated, but Section 527 basically says that groups can be created to influence the nomination, election, appointment, or defeat of candidates for public office. So basically, they're groups that want to influence elections, and they're not subject to campaign finance laws. So why are they the new soft money? Because this is where the unregulated unlimited money now goes, because we banned soft money. So now it's going to go to these organizations because they're not subject to campaign finance laws. Okay. Now, why is that? Pause your video, see if you can figure it out. And the correct answer is B, because of the income tax code, um, and because they're not for profit. Actually, it's D here. I'm sorry. So they represent nonprofit charities. Okay, so because they are not for profit, they don't have to follow the rules that the IRS regulates and passes down. Okay, and you can see after their creations in '02 how much influence they have. Obviously, much more influential in '04 than in 2008, and you can probably guess why they're not in '06, because it was a midterm election. But we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. They're pretty relevant. All right, here's your top 527 committees in the '08 election cycle. And you can see Service Employees International Union, so a labor union, America Votes, who knows what that even is, American Solutions Winning the Future, $18 million, Fund for America. So these just have really generic names that all sound good. So when you see an ad that says America Votes is responsible for the contents of this advertisement, you have no idea what that is or who that organization is responsible to. So that's part of the problem with these now. But you can see a lot more money than the hard money limits of $2,500. All right, Citizens United versus FEC. It's about time that's going to make the AP exam. It's 3 years old now. Okay, this overturned a case in 1980 that limited corporate contributions. All right, and I wrote down O'Connor's switch on here because Sandra Day O'Connor is no longer on the Supreme Court, and her replacement was Samuel Alito, who's much more conservative. And the opinion was 5-4 in Citizens United. So the Alito appointment is a big reason why this case was able to be ruled the way that it did. Okay. Now, Hillary the movie was put out by a conservative group called Citizens United that wanted to see her defeated for the presidency. And they made all these allegations about her and these shenanigans she was up to and things as first lady. All right. They were arguing they were just putting out a movie and then putting it on pay-per-view for free on various on-demand sites like Comcast and other cable providers. Okay. Federal Elections Commission said it was an issue advocacy ad, that you were advertising against a candidate, and it fell under that description. Citizens United said it was just a movie. Okay. We were trying to inform voters, which is our right to free speech. But since it was considered electioneering, it had to be pulled from the air. Okay. And the lawsuit was brought to the Supreme Court. Notice it was a 5-4 decision, and it said that corporate funding of independent broadcasts cannot be limited under the First Amendment. All right, so cannot be limited. Now, Citizens United got a lot of corporate money. That's why this fell into the jurisdiction of the courts. Okay, they struck down the McCain-Feingold provision that said that unions cannot run electioneering communications within 30 days of a primary. This obviously was out during a primary because Hillary didn't make the general election. But they struck down that ban because the corporation essentially had the right to free speech, and they could publicize whatever they want during that 30-day window. All right. They did uphold the requirements for the disclaimer and disclosure. So it did have to say Citizens United was responsible for this, and it did have to have the disclosure of the organization where it came from. What it did not have to do is disclose where the donors came from. So that's what opened the door to these super PACs, because 527s do have to disclose where their money comes from, but they don't have to say in the name of their organization. Well, after Citizens United, super PACs can raise money anonymously and then spend it. As long as the organization's name's on it, they don't have to reveal who gave them the money. Okay? So if you look at the cartoon here, this is obviously right after Citizens United. All right. And how does the cartoonist view the regulation of campaign donations? And pause your video. And the correct answer is, all right, um, right here, C. So the government must better inform voters on the issues and conflicts regarding campaign finance to preserve fairness and equality. All right. So super PACs, they're technically called 501c4s. I have a visual, I think, on Moodle to illustrate all these different organizations. Okay, but it's basically a new kind of political action committee. Remember, a regular political action committee only operates under hard money. Okay, um, and they basically can raise unlimited amounts, spend unlimited amounts. Okay, they're known as independent expenditure only committees. Okay, so they can spend money. All right, they can raise unlimited sums from corporations, unions, associations, spend unlimited sums to overtly advocate for or against political candidates. They must report their donors to the FEC on a monthly basis. Okay, but it's a super PAC's choice, as a traditional PAC would. Unlike traditional PACs, super PACs are prohibited from donating money directly to a candidate. So if I'm a super PAC, I can spend as much as I want, but I cannot give it to a candidate. I can buy all the signs, put up all the billboards, run all the TV ads, but cannot give it to the candidate themselves. So super PACs are for spending, PACs are more for contributions. Important distinction. Okay? And just to kind of illustrate here for you, there are 28 states that allow corporations to spend money in state elections, but there's little to no difference in campaign spending overall in those states versus the other 22, implying there's not a big difference whether or not we allow this or not. Corporations prefer to lobby opposed to the running the ads on TV, because they're lobbying the official that's already there, where when they run the campaign ads, they might be backing losing candidates. And corporations already can spend money through their PACs, but it's limited in the amount. As I said in class, most of the super PACs are run by people. Obviously, people that are very wealthy that are connected with corporations, but they're wealthy individuals that run the super PACs, not so much the organizations. Okay, so that kind of closes the door on Citizens United. Hopefully, you get that one. But the big thing here is independent expenditures cannot be limited, and open the door to super PACs, which are now very controversial and running our elections. All right, thank you, and we'll see you on Thursday.